I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I did want to add this. While we had a moment, I was just reading.
Oh, that's a little strange. Why am I getting this feedback? I was going to say, I thought that was the video, but I'm still hearing feedback from here. That's not good. What can I do to fix that? Well, that's great. This is going to drive me crazy. I'm getting feedback in my ears for no reason whatsoever. What's the rest of Michigan live stream? Are you hearing my voice in a feedback loop? This is driving me bonkers, and I don't like that at all. I was going, and of course, I also know to script the intro without having the countdown there. But hey, Mark, did you hear that with the cold open? Because I was going to segue right into that, talking about this. Yeah, probably going to sound off. Oh boy, hold on. Hold on. I think I have an idea. Hold on, folks. I think I have two stream windows open. That's what's doing it. Yeah, how about this? Okay. Oh, thank God. Well, too bad about the intro. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Rescue Michigan Sunday Night Live stream. We didn't have a stream last week, and I had so many things to talk about going into tonight's stream. And then last night happened. And also, by the way, I'm completely exhausted. I've been up for like the last 24 hours at least. So I think we're going to have to talk about the attempted assassination conspiracy last night on tonight's episode. And then in a day or three, have another show to talk about some news. I'm trying to get Lucas Gerhard on the show again because if you saw that my email blast the other day talking about this bill that's moving through Lansing to basically legalize what the state did to Lucas, charging with a 20-year felony for making a joke about his gun, that's actually gotten some traction. I saw the Midwesterner picked it up. Some folks on X have picked it up, and they've been sending it around. So I do want to talk about that. And we've got like I said, 2 weeks worth of other news, world news. I mean, including today. That's just a couple hours ago. Breaking news. Iran is no longer willing to negotiate over its nuclear program at all, per the state news agency. Discussions will only cover ending the war, sanctions relief, compensation, and lifting the blockade. Nuclear issues, quote, could be addressed later in a separate agreement only after the war is ended. That's a huge story, but we have to talk about what happened last night. And man, this is mind-boggling to me because first off, nothing about this story makes a word of sense. Let's get that right out of the way right now, including that cold open clip, which we heard with that lousy echo. If you didn't hear it, what the Fox reporter was calling on the phone and saying was, Carolyn Levitt, Trump's press secretary, who's about to have a baby, her husband was sitting next to me and told me, you need to be safe because it's not safe. Click. Signal gets lost. And then she calls back a few minutes later. Hey, sorry about that connection problem we just had there. Anyway, as I was saying, he told me you need to be safe for no particular reason whatsoever. Just out of the blue, just said that, nothing important. What? But that is only the tip of the iceberg in absolute craziness surrounding this entire affair. Starting with, why is the suspect still alive? Why is he not like completely filled with lead right now? Anyone have an answer for that? Because Larry Johnson, who is a veteran high-level CIA operative who knows, he says, I have a close personal friend in the Secret Service. He says, absolutely, the standard operating procedure is shooter, shoot to kill. shoot until they stop moving forever. That is how that happens. Also, standard operating procedure for the Secret Service, I believe, is to secure the perimeter. What the fuck is going on here? So we got to talk about all that stuff. But I was starting to formulate some kind of theories in my head about this. And then I saw today the New York Post published this guy's alleged manifesto. I think manifesto is the wrong word for it. More like a note, a murder note, attempted murder note, some kind of note. Anyway, every single sentence in this thing is absolutely bizarre. And I am a firm believer in the Judge Judy law that if a story does not make sense, it is not true. But the amazing thing is, the official story makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The conspiracy theory makes no sense either. Like, why would the shooter be allowed to live? Explain that. I can't. So this is a very developing story, but let's at least recap what we know or what we think we know in this show. And then after I get some rest, maybe in a day or three, I'll come back and talk about everything else going on in the world and in Michigan. Mark says there have been attempted assassinations to different presidents before, but not like on Trump. You know, I'm not entirely sure about that. I remember like when I was a kid, there was some show I watched that was a special on the Secret Service. And they're like, presidents get like hundreds of death threats every year. And maybe they're not all as serious as this. The thing that seems amazing with Trump is how close so many of these assassins get without actually pulling it off. But let me start with this. Do you guys remember how you all felt after the Butler attempted assassination? And contrast that with how you feel, how you felt about what happened last night. It's pretty different, isn't it? Now, obviously, we can explain some of that. First off, the shooter got a lot closer last time. No question about that. I mean, Trump was actually hit by a bullet. That's a huge difference. And secondly, in a strange way, the stakes are actually higher back then. You know, remember when the Butler shooting happened, Trump had not yet named his running mate. So had Trump been killed that day, not only would this current presidency never have happened, but who knows who the Republicans would have picked? Who knows whether or not the Republican would have won? Probably would have, but would that have been? Hugely different course for the world. Whereas last night, had the shooter succeeded, although why in the world he thought he would is a very interesting question to explore. But had Trump been killed last night, what would have happened? J.D. Vance would become the president. Probably the best thing that could have happened to the Republican Party in 2026, if we're being honest about it. I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying. But let's take a look. And I think I have to start. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about in this. There's the absolutely insane reactions from lots of different people, including, by the way, like MAGA Inc., how they had, here, I'll show you. Let me put this on the screen here. Can I make this bigger? Hold on. Can't make it much bigger. Can I zoom in? It won't let me zoom in. These are all these Trumpsters on X, all the paid Trump supporters coming out with the exact same line. This is why President Trump needs to build the White House ballroom. Now, obviously, this has been coordinated. But the amazing thing is, this, because we know Trump came out like 20 minutes after the event, which is itself crazy to do a news conference where they're all cool as a cucumber. He, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio's there, everybody's there, and Trump's talking about how we need a ballroom in the White House. And here's the problem. First off, these tweets all came out before that news conference, like 20 minutes before the news conference. They're all talking about, what about the ballroom? We need a ballroom. Now, a couple of things here. Number one, the ballroom was not the problem. the Secret Service was the problem, right? Yeah, the Secret Service can secure a location. They can secure one building just the same as they can secure another building. It's not like the White House banquet hall would be any less secure or more secure than another location if the federal government and the Secret Service are securing it. The problem is they didn't secure this. This hotel, the same hotel that Reagan was shot in, for crying out loud. And then, of course, the other problem is, why would you bring up the ballroom? Like, and why would your supporters bring it up? Like, okay, so Trump brought up the ballroom because he has this weird obsession with the White House ballroom and his legacy and all that. But his supporters would be like, yeah, this is like manna from heaven for 2026. Let's talk about the radical left right now, not the ballroom. Talk about the crazy ass murderous liberals. Mark asks if I'm a fan of JD Vance. I was when he was named to be his running mate. I was over the moon thrilled. Vance has been a huge disappointment since he's been in office, though. He's basically been just doing nothing but kissing up to Trump, and they say behind the scenes he's being an anti-war voice, but in front of the cameras he's doing absolutely nothing to change course. Anyway, that's a topic for another night, Mark. I don't want to get distracted here. We have a lot to talk about with respect to this crazy thing. And again, the first thing off is this guy, Cole Allen, I guess his name is. I'm going to read through this whole thing. Here's his mugshot, by the way. He's smiling, which I guess you would be if you're happy to be alive, because how on earth he expected not to get gunned down by the Secret Service is quite a thing. Here's another photo of the event as it unraveled. You see Melania Trump completely shocked, and Trump cool as a cucumber. Strange. Here's the alleged shooter with no shirt on for some reason. I don't know why. There's some footage of the security cameras as he's dashing right through the checkpoint where he's got a shirt on. Here he doesn't. And again, we don't have any of the footage, which is strange, nor any witness statements as to what exactly happened. But somehow 5 shots went off, and a Secret Service agent, they say, was hurt, was shot in the bulletproof vest, I guess. Okay, where'd the other 4 shots go? Speaking of that, by the way, I'm gonna go to that first. We'll come back to that in a second. I'm gonna pause it. This is the audio. This is from CNN. This is where they had a post on Instagram. Hear the shots being fired in the hotel, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And here's the shots. Here we go. Let's listen. Okay, did you hear that? Loud bang, about a 2/3 of a second pause, and then pop, 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 4 shots in about less than 1 second. So louder shot, 4 quieter shots. Let's listen again. Here we go. Okay, clearly 2 different firearms. Bang, pop, 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 pop. So likely, from what we've heard in the media, shotgun, handgun, and then the same handgun firing 4 times. His handgun? Apparently he had a shotgun and a handgun. Now, I don't know what this guy's firearm proficiency is. The news are reporting that he trained regularly at the shooting range. Even still, I have a hard time believing those 4 shots were fired by him, because A, that means he went from shotgun to handgun. Was he had the shotgun in one hand and the handgun in the other? Because I don't know about you guys, I'm left-handed. I do not shoot with my right hand very well at all. That's advanced training, ambidextrous firearms training. And also, by the way, 4 shots in under a second. I mean, you can do that. Sure, anybody can do that. But to shoot accurately and well really does take training. I mean, police can do it. And a lot of shots are happening at like close range, but still. So if the Secret Service fired off 4 rounds, and what were they? Were they warning shots? Did they all miss? Let's listen one more time. And if they missed, why didn't they keep shooting? Did their guns only have 4 bullets in them? There should have been an absolute hail of gunfire at that moment. So anyway, let's listen again. One more time. So there you go. Clearly two different firearms, probably 2 different locations. This is absolutely not normal. Not in the slightest. Anyway, so a shirtless Allen is taken into custody after the shooting. Amazing. I can't wait to find out what the official story becomes about how they subdued this guy without pumping his guts full of lead. Mark says, Colin, it's I think Cole, isn't it? Cole Allen will be someone's wife in prison. As a big Trump supporter, music to me is the guy will be a prison wife. I'm surprised, Mark, you're not upset that he isn't dead. But hey, you know, it's such a weird thing. But anyway, before we explore anything further, I really want to get to like what I think is the most the craziest element of this entire story, and that is this guy's manifesto. Now, as we read through this, and I'm going to have to belabor every sentence because literally every sentence in this is a bombshell. Please keep in mind, according to the reports, he took a train from California to Washington, D.C., a 43-hour train ride. So he had 43 hours to do exactly two things: plan his attack and write this manifesto, which supposedly he deployed 10 minutes before going in. So he typed this all up, and we'll see at the end, he decided to ad-lib at the end a little epilogue of his thoughts about the security at the hotel. How crazy is that? We'll get to it. But this is what he chose to write. Oh, and one more thing to keep in mind as we read through this. Cole Allen has, I believe, at least 2 advanced degrees, and one of them at least from CalTech, which, for those who don't know, the California Institute of Technology is one of the most elite universities in the world. It is MIT level. It is above the Ivy League level. It is like the most selective college. I remember I didn't even apply to go to CalTech when I was applying for colleges. I got into U of M. I applied to Ivy Leagues. I didn't even bother with CalTech. Like, that was for CalTech's for like absolute scientific geniuses, people who are like, you know, passing AP calculus in 6th grade. That's CalTech. This guy got a master's degree in computer science from CalTech, and reportedly he is a school teacher, which means he has some kind of teaching degree. Okay, so this guy, according to that information, must be really, really, really smart. And yet here we will read what has to be the dumbest thing I have read all year. And I've been on X. Okay, so let's go through this. Okay, first off, hello, everybody! Exclamation point. Can I make this bigger? I can make this bigger. Okay, let me make this a little smaller now. Let me get rid of this. Hello, everybody! Exclamation point. Okay, let's stop right there. Exclamation point? He's not like in a, you know, serious, upset mood to be attempting to kill. He's thinking he's going to kill the president, right? I'm about to become a part of history for murdering the president of the United States. How am I going to start off my letter? I've got 43 hours to pen my manifesto for the world to hear. Hello, everybody. So, yes, he actually wrote this out. So, I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Oh, you think? Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. Oh, how big of him. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. Okay, wait a minute. First off, do you really, I mean, seriously, do you need to apologize to your parents, honestly? Like, because aren't you supposed to be a hero, right? You're Mr. Hero killing the big bad president. And by the way, why in the world did you think you would be on a most wanted list? Your plan was to march in and shoot the president, either to be interdicted as you were or killed. You thought you were going to flee? Really? That's your plan, Mr. CalTech graduate? I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency. Oh, really? That's what you're apologizing for? For lying for lying about why you skipped work that day? By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but I can hardly call that a self-inflicted status. Oh, this guy's a funny man, isn't he? Yeah, he's telling jokes up here. Yeah, by the way, I'm probably going to be in the ER. So sorry about the personal emergency. I guess, by the way, I have a personal emergency now. If I'm still alive, that is. What? What is this? Let's go on. I apologize to all the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handled my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. The people you traveled next to, like the people on the train from California to Washington, don't you? What? This makes no sense at all. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this. To all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this. Oh, what a hero this guy thinks he is. To all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. Why? Why you're apologizing for what? Not trying to murder the president sooner? Aren't they supposed to thank you? Oh, thank you, Mr. Allen, for murdering our president. Really? There's his photo again. And here he goes on. By the way, this entire letter, the thing that's most amazing about this entire thing is all about himself. I don't expect forgiveness, but I could have seen, and if I could have seen any other way to get this done, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. Really? Any other way? There's nothing I could have done except kill the president. It was all I could possibly do. On to why I did any of this. He really likes his transitions. You don't have to introduce it. Just say it. So why? I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me. No, it doesn't. I covered this extensively 2 weeks ago, by the way, in my whole tax day rant about, no treason, Lysander Spooner. We are not all individually liable for our government. That's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. Your congressman represents 500,000 people. You are not responsible for what he does in Washington, thank God. Otherwise, we'd have a lot of dead congressmen. We wouldn't have a government because they'd all be dead. And here he is. This is CalTech photo there, you see? His graduation photo. And here we're starting to get to the meat of this. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Now, as we will see, this guy is an avowed leftist. He is your classical left-wing nutso. And even still, of all the reasons why a radical left-wing maniac would want to kill Trump, he goes to this. A pedophile rapist. Let's break this down. This is important. A pedophile. How? Who? What child did Trump rape? I know what he's talking about generally. He's talking about the Epstein files, right? But if he actually believed this, where's the allegation? Also, by the way, where is it written that it's okay to kill pedophiles? How come that's not written in this manifesto? And same for the rapist. Rapist. Is he talking about E. Jean Carroll, the woman that got $83 million, having had no trial whatsoever? Trump had no ability to defend himself. Literally, it was she. By the way, if you don't know, she's a confessed sex addict. She, who accused Trump of raping him, he said, "No, I didn't." And then she sued him for defamation, for exercising his right to deny the accusation. And then the judge gives her $83 million. A rapist. Unless I guess talking about the Epstein stuff too. Again, of all the things, like at this point, okay, Trump has been on a murderous rampage around the world for the past 3 months. And I know most liberals who don't like Trump are like upset about that. But this is his go-to. His go-to is not, mass murdering children or anything. No, he's been accused of protecting pedophiles. And then traitor. And again, how so? Like, okay, I can imagine ways to call Trump a traitor. In fact, I probably have called Trump a traitor in certain ways. But let's see if ever he actually makes any specific allegation, because you will see he doesn't. In fact, the amazing thing is he doesn't care about Trump very much at all. He cares only about himself. And we'll see as we go through this. Let's go on. And back to himself. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. He loves telling everybody about what's going on in his head. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement. Why? And by the way, and he goes on, looks at it, puts it in parenthesis, probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Yeah, you're not. Which makes it all the more strange and suspicious that you use the term rules of engagement. For what purpose? But now he goes. He goes on. This is now his rules of engagement. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel. Why would that be? Hey guys, I've got a challenge for all of you out there. Find me any living, breathing Democrat anywhere in the United States. Any Democrat. There's 100 million of them or so. Maybe not quite that many, but there's a lot of Democrats out there, millions of them. Find me one living, breathing Democrat who hates Trump enough to kill him, and believe me, there are plenty. I know some of them. But who would say, Kash Patel, no, he's cool. No. Now, I can think of some possible reasons why Kash Patel, by the way, Mr. Patel, that's funny formality there. Mr. Kash Patel, director of the FBI. I mean, I can imagine why he would exempt Mr. Patel. Careful, don't shoot the boss, right? And a little patchy thing going on there, maybe. Why else? Why else would a shooter targeting administration officials, Lee Zeldin, shoot him? Kash Patel, no, he's cool. What? They are targets, prioritized from the highest ranking to lowest. Did this guy really think this through? Like in the heat of the live shooting, he's going to be thinking, okay, no, Lee Zeldin's in my crosshairs, but no, JD Vance is over there. This is insane. This makes no sense whatsoever. It goes on. Secret Service. They are only targets if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. Oh, really? Oh, here, what does that mean? Here he explains. Also known as, this guy is not well educated in the English language for someone who went to CalTech and is, by his own saying, an American citizen. To be incapacitated non-lethally if possible, also known as, I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. What? Okay, so let me get this straight. The Secret Service, who, if necessary, like he thought he was going to shoot the president and the Secret Service were not going to return fire? Is that what he thought? Is that what this 31-year-old CalTech educated multiple master's degree holding guy thought? Hotel security, not targets if at all possible, also known as unless they shoot at me. Wait, hold on. This is like this guy's code of honor. Yeah, okay. I'm the aggressor here. I'm the one going in to murder the president. Now, if his protectors shoot back at me, well, then I guess they're legitimate targets, aren't they? They're just innocent bystanders. But if they have the audacity to shoot at me, well, I'm committing my massacre. Well, then I guess it's their fault. Then they become legitimate targets, right? What the fuck is this? This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. You got a photo there of the Secret Service escorting Trump out. By the way, did you guys notice on the video footage, as soon as the shots, like immediately, JD Vance is dragged out of there. Trump, they give 20 full seconds before they get him out. Now, again, Larry Johnson looked at that. He's like, look, I guarantee you, Secret Service, first priority is El Presidente, not the Veep. So why is it Vance is the first one they pull out of the room. And then Trump is like in there for, you can count it out, 20 full seconds after Vance is taken out. Very strange. Anyway, then the Capitol Police, same as Hotel Security. National Guard, same as Hotel Security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guess not target. Oh, well, what a noble man. Todd Von Schultz, how is it that anyone listens to you or watches your live stream? You are worse than anyone I know. Tell me why, Todd. Happy to debate you on this. What have I said so far that's upset you? Let me know. Does this make sense to you, Todd? Can you really imagine this being something that any person would actually write? Does this sound like a sentence you'd ever read in your life? In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs. Parentheses, less penetration through walls. Oh, this guy's done his homework. Yeah. I mean, you never have flyers when you have, double-eyed buckets as opposed to a single slug, And this still goes on. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit, but I really hope it doesn't come to that. By the way, speaking of that, because this kind of contradicts everything this guy's been saying up to this point, the chosen venue for this attempted assassination is the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Like the mass media elites. I mean, I know why I hate the mass media, but even the people on the left, a lot of them don't like the mass media. Don't a lot of them think like the mass media is part of the reason why Trump is in office right now? And this just kind of occurs to him. By the way, actually, I really need to kill the president. So if I need to, I mean, really, everyone here is guilty if I have to. On the basis that most people, oh, by the way, if there are some innocents, who cares? This guy's got quite a moral code, doesn't he? Most people chose to attend a speech by, and again, he rattles off these buzzwords, these left-wing buzzwords to describe Trump. No fleshing out of what this is. He really hasn't even said what motivates him. So far, and we've read we're halfway through this entire note. The whole reason you write the note is to explain what you're doing and why, and it's this. He's a pedophile, he's a rapist, he's a traitor. I mean, come on. I can find harsher words for Trump than these. And now, rebuttals to objections. He has a subheading for some reason, which is, this whole thing is completely stupid because first of all, he's just engaging in his own made-up straw man arguments. Objection 1. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Who said this? Who said this? I'm gonna rebut the objections I imagine people will make that I can rebut. How about I have an objection. Murder is wrong. How about that objection? Do you want to address that objection in your little pre-buttal here, Mr. Shooter? And this is his reaction, rebuttal. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. Oh, really? Where's the scriptural citation for that? I'm not the person raped in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Okay. This is actually, I think, the closest he ever gets to making any kind of concrete accusation about anything. And I don't actually know what he means about the person raped in a detention camp. Maybe he's talking about the Israelis raping Palestinians. Maybe. If so, why wouldn't you say that? I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teen. Again, look at this. This everything we've read to this point is him talking about himself. Now, I know if I was, I'm not, I would never do anything like this, but you would think he would write something like, hundreds of innocent school children in Manab murdered by this administration in a cold-blooded ruthless act of aggression, something like that, and just there's these vague generalities, in the passive voice hypotheticals. I'm going to come back to Todd for a second here because he has responded. Because you used to be someone that fought very hard to get Trump elected. Yes, I did, Todd. Thank you for noticing. And suddenly you are a Trump hater because of his foreign policy. Well, it's not just that, Todd. It's actually every single campaign promise Trump ever made. He promised America first. He gave us Israel first. He promised build the wall. And he's giving us amnesty. These are core promises. We were promised Doge. Remember that? Cutting the size of government. Now he's talking about, let's tack on an extra $500 billion in the military budget this year. We were told he's going to end the deep state surveillance. Now he's using this incident to justify expanding deep state surveillance. We'll talk about that in a minute or three. He broke all his promises, Todd. His entire administration is basically one big swamp slush fund. And he has done incredible devastation to our country that will probably never be recovered, just so you know. Like our standing in the world now, after all this. No, this has been an unmitigated disaster of a presidency. At least, Todd, thank you for acknowledging that I actually did support Trump. Because most people just say, like Trump himself. The way he knifed Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know what Marjorie Taylor Greene said a couple days ago? She said when she confronted Trump, Trump says, if your son receives death threats, that's your fault for criticizing me. Todd says he is spinning 10 plates at once. How many can you spin, my friend? I'll tell you, Todd, if I'm spinning 10 plates at once, I'm not posting memes of Candace Owens looking like she's, some kind of drug addict or crack addict or something. He spits in the face of his supporters. It's disgusting. He treats his enemies better than his friends. Lindsey Graham was a never-Trumper. Marco Rubio was a never-Trumper. Ted Cruz was a never-Trumper. He has filled his administration with never-Trumpers. And his biggest and strongest supporters who walked through hell to get him elected, those are the people he reserves his nastiest bile for. So don't tell me he's too busy, because he finds the time to attack all of his most loyal supporters. It's awful. But never mind that. Trump's a good guy now, because no matter what he did, he shouldn't have been shot. Anyway. So here's this moron going on about what he thinks Christianity means, having no clue what he's talking about. Objection 2. This is not a convenient time for you to do this. This is completely pointless because, he's just making up objections that nobody's ever raised. No one ever said this. But again, this is not about Trump. This is about himself. This is someone that wants internet fame. Rebuttal. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. No, it's about you. It's about Cole Allen. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it'd be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? This is classical left-wingism. This is busybodyism. Every evil in the world I'm responsible for, and I must take action to address. This was the best timing in ancient civilization I could come up with. Oh, isn't he a hero? He thinks he is in his own mind. Police officers directing attendees outside the hotel. Many carrying not one but 2 bottles of booze with them. That's an amazing side story right there. Objection. Again, this is complete bullshit. Like, I don't even know. We can just skip over these because they're nonsensical. I already covered this. Objection 5. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And here's what he says. This is his big, highfalutin legal argument here. The United States of America are ruled by the law, not by any one or several people. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. So again, you're not rebutting the objection, you're just denying it. Yeah, if you don't like the law, you just ignore the law. Because you know better, don't you? I would also like to extend my appreciation to a great many people, since I will not be likely to be able to talk with them again. And this just gets crazier, unless the Secret Service is astoundingly incompetent. Yeah. What does that even mean? Well, it's funny because he goes on about the Secret Service. I've never seen a manifesto that talks so much about the Secret Service. So here we go. Thank you. Oh, he's accepting his award. Thank you to my family, my both personal and church, for your love over these 31 years. We, the people, have the right to know which church he's talking about, so that church can be excommunicated. That whole denomination must go. Okay, I'm being facetious. Not the whole denomination, but seriously, folks, what church is this that made him? I want to know. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many years. Thank you to my colleagues, blah, blah, blah. Thank you to my students. Oh, you bring the little children into this, you sick fuck. Hope this guy gets the electric chair. He won't, because he didn't actually, kill a guy, but he should. There's Kash Patel. Kash Patel, the footage of him just staring around clueless after the shots ring out and people are evacuating. They're grabbing up the bottles of booze and they're slowly, just like you do an evacuation, active shooter. You take your time, you grab some booze, some people with some extra bites of the food. And there's Kash staring off into space. What's going on, guys? Something happening? What do I do? Thank you to the many acquaintances I've met, in person and online, for short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Let's hope they get those people. At least get their names. I want their affiliations. Because, this is the radical left lunatics that were behind this. Or maybe, who knows? Like I said, inside operation, that doesn't make sense either. Or they leave them to live. When the government carries out these operations, they kill the patsies. They always kill the patsies. Lee Harvey Oswald, Sirhan Sirhan, they kill them. You know what I'm talking? That's only more trouble. Sincerely, Cold Force. Yes, that's his gamer name. That was the warning sign right there. Game Dev was in his Facebook tags. Friendly Federal Assassin. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get that feeling he's writing this. As he's hearing this in his head, his own voice, it's gay as shit. Sincerely, Cold Force, Friendly Federal Assassin, Alan. P.S. Okay. Now that all that sappy stuff is done. Okay, so he changed his tone here. So you get the impression he wrote that on the train ride, right? And now he checks into the hotel the night before the event. Apparently that's how he got through security, he was a guest at the hotel. Again. He says it right here. What the hell is the Secret Service doing? Sorry, gonna rant here a bit and drop the formal tone. Well, again, CalTech, Masters in Education. This is what passes for English to a teacher? Sorry, gonna rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. The formal tone? Excuse me. You started your letter with this is the formal tone. Hold on. Let me scroll up. Formal tone. Hello, everybody. So, sentence number 1. So, formal tone. Okay. The real victim in this whole incident should be is CalTech. Like this has forever shattered anyone's impression that that's the school for like the best and the brightest people ever. I mean, maybe it's affirmative action, early decision, something, but this guy should not have gone to a university like CalTech. Anyway, where was I? Okay. Okay, drop the formal tone. Now he starts the sentences with okay. A lot of people put likes and ums. I put likes and ums in my sentences sometimes when I'm speaking. You don't write it out. Like, I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. Then why do you think your plan would work? What I got, who knows? Maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. No damn security. Not in transport. Not in the hotel. Not in the event. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? You would be like thinking to myself, almost like I'm a patsy. What? Like the one thing that I immediately noticed walking into the hotel is the sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons, and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. Well, were you open carrying? Because I mean, if you're concealing them, why would they know? You think they're going to do? The hotel's going to rummage through your bags? Now, the Secret Service certainly should have. Usually you have this thing called a secure perimeter. Here's what he says. The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals. Because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. Yeah, that is strange. Like, this level of incompetence is insane. And I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country actually gets competent leadership again. What the fuck is happening here? Butler, Pennsylvania. Gigantic Secret Service security failure. And now the goddamn shooter is saying Secret Service is completely, insanely incompetent. I mean, first of all, Trump needs an entire new Secret Service from the ground. The presidency in general needs a brand new Secret Service. Every single one of these people needs to be investigated. Holy shit. I mean, what the fuck? Can you imagine? This is like Mark says, please watch your language. Mark, I'm sorry. The occasion calls for it here. An assassin, an attempted assassin. I very sincerely hope that the lack of Secret Service security is corrected for the next time someone tries to assassinate the president like me. What? This is bananas. Like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn Mod Deuce, that's a 50 BMG, in here and no one would have noticed shit. Actually insane. Yeah, it's funny. Like, because everyone would have thought, like, the first thing that would happen was they would have blamed Iran for this. I mean, Trump blamed Iran for Butler. This is so weird. This makes no. Yeah, you would think. Like, one of the stories we didn't get a chance to cover this past week was not one but two very high level sources in the Trump administration have been leaking that Trump has been pestering the Pentagon for access to the nuclear codes, and they've been blocking him. Two sources have said this, separate sources. One of them is Larry Johnson. That's crazy. This is, and so you have the attempted assassin is saying, hey, by the way, Iran could have done this too, because if I could do this, so could Iran have done this. Which makes you think, I mean, isn't this actual proof that actually no foreign country at all is trying to assassinate Trump? Because here's this guy saying, by the way, anyone could do it. Probably in the future they can't. But here's the thing. And by the way, if this is not a conspiracy of some kind, you will not see Trump making any public appearances like this for a long time because they have some major security issues to work through. But then again, Trump was out 20 minutes later after the shooting doing a news conference. And him and all his staff, cool as cucumbers. Just, it happened. We got through it. No big deal. No big deal. Just an attempted assassination of the president of the United States would have upended the whole world. By the way, just so if you guys don't know this, you should know, it is standard operating procedure. Trump has said he ordered it, but actually every president, it's doctrinal. If the president is assassinated by a foreign agent, nukes go off immediately. Like, it is that simple. That is nuclear war. That's why foreign governments are not trying to assassinate President Trump. These bozos are. Anyway, We're at the end here. Now, having been through all this, what's this note been? Me. Trump's a traitor. That's why I did it. Oh, and if anyone is curious about how doing something like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will. Bullshit. For all the people whose trust this betrays, I experience rage thinking about everything this administration has done. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. What? I can't recommend what I am choosing to do. Stay in school, kids. You should have stayed in school yourself, buddy. Go back to grammar school. That is the most insane thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Here's a nice summary. Another lone wolf shooter with zero criminal record, well liked by others who described him as gentle and smart. Just wakes up one day, decides to take a 43-hour train ride from LA to Chicago. Another 18-hour train ride from Chicago to DC. Oh, I'm sorry. I said 43 hours. I meant 61 hours. To carry out a violent attack on what is supposed to be the most heavily protected person on the planet. Yeah, it's a little strange. It's a little bizarre. Here's another, by the way, another side story. This is a point I meant to make earlier, but I'm glad I remembered to make it. And cheers to this guy for noticing this. David Schuster, who I guess is a former broadcaster of some kind. Last night, CNN, TMZ, CBS, and others reported the dinner gunman was confirmed dead. Yes, they did. Remember that? We all remember that. First thing we heard about the shooting. They all said it. Gunman confirmed dead. In fact, he was alive and had not even been shot, just shot at. At a dinner honoring White House reporting, the rush to be first instead of being accurate was on full display. Speaks volumes. Isn't that amazing, ladies and gentlemen? The White House Correspondents' Dinner, literally the entire Washington journalism elite class is there, and they are all tumbling over each other with a fake story. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, what will this even do? I was gonna say, because I remember when the Butler assassination attempt happened. Like, that ignited a fire in me, and I bet it ignited a fire in all of you guys too. Like, okay, fuck whatever problems we had with Trump in term one. We have to defend this guy now. This cannot be allowed to stand. This is why Trump has to be elected, right? You all felt that. I know you did. I did. We all did. This shooting, let's just entertain the possibility, because we've seen a little bit of holes in the official story here. Let's just entertain the possibility that there was some kind of inside game going on here. Maybe to generate some sympathy for Trump in the polls. I was going to say, I don't think this event will even move the needle. Well, it turns out Richard Barish, the pollster, who also was very pro-Trump, already did that. And here's what he found out. He's been surveying voters. Friday, day before the shooting. Percentage of 2024 voters certain to vote in 2026 for Sunday, April 26th. Okay, so that's the percentage for the top number. So, people who voted in 2024 who say they will certainly vote in 2026, because that's a big thing in elections. Like, the name of the game is turnout. There's some swing voters, but mostly it's turnout. If your side doesn't show up to vote, you lose. So, Friday, 82.1% of Harris voters, Democrats, say they're going to show up to vote in 2026. 78.4% Trump voters. Saturday, almost the same difference. Harris voters have dropped slightly, Trump voters have dropped slightly. Okay, but comparatively speaking, about the same. Today, Sunday, April 26th, the day after the shooting, which just about everybody in America heard about the shooting. So normally news events take a couple weeks to show up in the polls, but everyone heard about this. Certain to vote. And again, the psychological, moral, mental reaction we have, the visceral reaction you have to this event is strongest right at the moment it happens. You know, your emotional response is strongest when it's right when something is happening. The intellectual response lingers longer. It comes on later. Right after the shooting, Trump voters down, not up. Whatever this might have attempted to accomplish, it did not move the needle. And with all these weird things, what's this? The most important thing to do during a shooting is film your face. White House correspondent. You can chalk this up to these reporters being completely full of themselves and being just insane. But here's Kash Patel. There's Kash. During the shooting, the director of the FBI, who for some reason the shooter said, I won't shoot him. Strangest thing ever. And you guys really think this is normal behavior for an FBI director? In an active assassination attempt on the president? It's incredible. Incredible. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, you guys have probably seen these photos already. the White House correspondents, the journalist community, grabbing up the wine because that's what's important. Look at these people. Active shooting, attempted assassination of the president. Let's just mingle a little bit longer here, shall we? Look, we got these. We're already paid for the booze. It's ours. Let's take it with us. Let's go get drunk someplace. We can still hang out here for a bit. This isn't like an active crime scene or anything. No. Just grab the booze and let's move on. What is going on? And then there was a news conference. Listen to this. This is a nice point here.
Didn't pause. Hardly. Sorry, James. I was just saying that's quite a remarkable thing. There's mayhem, but the Trump White House machine didn't pause. Hardly drew breath before organizing the press conference.
Yeah, fascinating, isn't it? Donald Trump. But, you know, we've seen that before.
Sorry, James. I was just saying that.
No, we haven't seen anything quite like that before. When we saw it happening in Butler, PA. We saw Trump doing the fight thing. That was great. But then they evacuated him. Like, that's what you do. And then, like, you think security just like they're not gonna say, hey, hold on. We got to get control of the entire situation first. 20 minutes. Hey, let's just news conference right now. This whole thing makes no sense at all. No sense at all. And when something makes no sense, it's not true. Mark says, do you think there's any conspiracy theories about this? I do. Well, here's the problem, Mark. I have no theory. I have no theory. I mean, you know, and Matt Walsh, who obviously is like defending Trump on this, he made a kind of snarky post. I didn't have it pulled up handy, but let me see. I can find it pretty quickly, I think. Here's what Matt Walsh said. Yeah, here we go. I'm officially convinced it was a hoax. Trump administration recruited a leftist, Kamala Harris, voting Trump paid her to participate in a staged assassination that would include the shooter getting shot at and then locked in a federal prison for the rest of his life. The Kamala Harris voter agreed to this plan that works against his political and personal interests because he's just like a really generous guy. Meanwhile, the Trump administration, despite dastardly planning multiple assassination hoaxes, decided to keep their patsy alive and the permanent liability to them, rather than just killing him like they could have easily done. They did this because they're also really strangely generous in a very odd and specific way. So in summary, we have a plot where all parties involved are working against their own interests with no discernible benefit to any of them. There is no evidence of this plan and doesn't even make any intuitive sense, and the motives for everyone are unclear, if not insane. But I still believe because I'm a very smart person. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So what is the working theory of this case? I don't have one. I don't see any scenario that makes any sense at all. Least of all, the official story. So, where does that leave us? I don't know. But that is the story for tonight. I'm exhausted. We will do a midweek stream to make up for the missing one last weekend and to talk about some of the other stuff that I actually even promised in the description of this video, including Stephen Miller, of all people, of all the things I mentioned to Todd earlier, talking about Trump. I can't believe, of all the things, like I can imagine, like, you know, Marco Rubio pushing Trump to the establishment side on things. I did not have Stephen Miller endorsing amnesty on my bingo card, but he has come out and said it. We'll talk about that next time. And the whole Iran situation, which has gotten pretty bad. And by the way, Operation Watchdog, guess what bill some Democrats put in this past week? They put in a bill to legalize assisted suicide. You know, how great is that going in Canada? So there's lots to talk about in Lansing. I will try to get Lucas Gerhard or somebody on to talk about this crazy bill that's already passed the Senate, by the way, to make it so the definition of terrorism now includes that you should have expected someone to know that you're making a threat. So we'll get to that soon. I need to get some sleep. Mark says that theory doesn't make sense to me because it would have made Vance president. Well, here's the thing, Mark. Here's where this does make sense. One thing that's happened this past few days is Trump's approval rating is going through the floor. In fact, he hit 3 new record lows just this past week. Minus 17.2 2 days ago, where it stayed, minus 17.1, minus 16.6. This is the aggregate average of polls. So they're factoring all different pollsters, tracking them over time, and the averages are getting worse and worse and worse. I have said for months now, this will be the worst Republican election in my lifetime. It will be an absolute disaster. Democrats are going to take everything. They're going to take everything in Michigan, by the way. Sorry, folks. I hate to say it. I think I said this last week. Maybe I hadn't. But if I was advising Trump how to turn his presidency around, and I swear to you, I am only half joking, my advice to Trump would be stage an exorcism. Now, I personally don't believe demons are like a physical, literal thing, but some people do. But Trump just run with it. Just, oh my God. You know, get a Catholic priest in there and just, what happened? I kidnapped the president of a head of state and murdered another one? Oh my God. I was possessed by demons. This whole first half of 2026 never happened. Oh my God. What's happened? America first. No, we're gonna change course right now. You know, I mean, seriously, I mean, I'm half joking, but really, Trump has no way out of this mess in Iran. None. And by the way, I haven't talked about it in a long time, but Russia's not in a stalemate with Ukraine. They are slowly but surely winning that war. And that's going to probably come to a head before the election, just so you guys know. So, and by the way, there's not going to be an exorcism of Trump. That's not happening. In all honesty, if I was an absolute cold-blooded Republican consultant, I'd say the best thing that Trump happened to the Republican Party right now is for Trump to be killed. Because then Vance would take over, the Republican sympathy would go through the roof, and everything that Trump did wrong, Vance would distance himself from. Again, not encouraging it, not endorsing it, don't support it, wouldn't dream of it, not a threat, not in anything, not suggesting it, don't do it. Murder is wrong, okay? I'm saying if you were a bloodless consultant, and believe me, Republican consultants are absolutely bloodless, that'd be the recommendation. So, yes, don't kid yourselves, guys. There are people that want Trump dead, and they're not all Democrats. In fact, if anything, Democrats, for the exact same reason, probably don't want Trump to be assassinated this year, honestly. I'm sure the, ordinary Democrats do, voters do, but elites, no. Let's let Trump keep going. He is destroying the Republican Party for at least a decade to come. So that's that. Mark Ashley Price, please have us on a Mr. Altman on again. That show of them is legendary. I'll try. Since you asked, Mark, okay, I'm game. I'll ask. I'll have to fit it in sometime in the schedule as things go, but we'll see. We'll try to make it happen. All right, guys, that will do it for us for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have a theory as to what really happened, please leave it in the comments section. That does help the algorithm. Hit the like button, all that good stuff too. I'm going to leave you guys with some humor. The memes have been funny. The AI, most AI is slop, but every now and then you see something funny, and I thought this was funny, so we'll close on a funny AI meme for tonight. And I will let's shoot for Tuesday. And if you don't see me on Tuesday, there'll be a stream hopefully then on Wednesday. So until then, guys, thank you as always for all you do for liberty. And until next time, peace.
Where's the uranium? Where's the uranium? You build the boom boom with spare parts. You send the drone sky high when a bombing starts. You stop the ships from passing through. I said if you block me, then I block you. Let's make peace and then hug it out. I'll even tell you where the aliens hang out. If you play along with it, I'm not pissed. All I wanted is for people to forget that list. Open up the Strait of Homo, 'cause oil is up and down like a yo-yo. Open up the Strait of Homo, yeah. Let the ships go through. And let me deal with the Jew. Yeah, 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 baby. Hey there, mullahs, let's not fight. We'll continue tomorrow night. Let's just put all those nukes away. BB's crazy and MAGA's dead anyway.